What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all doing well and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about some 2021 NBA draft prospects, but specifically guys the San Antonio Spurs should be looking at. Now the Spurs are an interesting team to draft for. They have a group of solid and competent young players but don't really have a star to lean on. DeMar DeRozan served as their primary scorer over the past few years. However, he will be a free agent this offseason. That puts the Spurs in a position where they could potentially take a big swing or try to land a future superstar. But who should that guy be? Well, stay tuned to find out. At 18 years old, Alperen Şengün won the Turkish League's MVP award. And the Turkish League is no Mickey Mouse league either. It's probably the second best league in Europe. Şengün is 6'10" with a 6'10" wingspan, and in that MVP winning season, he averaged 24.4 points, 12 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per 36 minutes, while shooting 65% from the field and 19% from three. He's a really creative finisher around the basket, and I mean really creative. He uses any space given to him by defenders and finishes from some seriously awkward angles. Contact isn't really an issue for him either. He's an elite back to the basket prospect. His footwork is top tier, and while he doesn't look it, he's actually quite strong. He's smart in situations and fakes defenders out of their socks. He shows great patience here and waits for the most optimal opportunity to get a shot up. He also showed a high passing IQ from these situations and showed he could be a really good facilitator too. The pick and roll is an area he thrives in, and he can use his soft hands and touch along with his verticality to finish on these rolls. I think he could be a playmaker in the short roll too. He has some potential to be a good rebound and run guy as well, and when he gets going, he can create for himself and others. He's got some serious jets, especially for a guy as big as him. He showed some good verticality as well and can be a threat on lobs. He can take big guys on off the dribble and showed some driving ability. His motor also runs really hot and he runs the floor hard. He's also good on the offensive boards and is always ready for tip-ins. His verticality helps him protect the rim despite his height, and he has a good understanding of angles and uses his body well to direct drivers wherever he wants them to go. There's potential for him to be a good drop coverage defender, and he reads ball handlers well and forces them to make tough decisions. He's also an alright shot blocker. Here are the weaknesses though. His 3-point shooting was pretty poor, although he didn't take too many, so it could just be a case of a small sample size. He didn't take many jumpers inside the arc either. Despite his speed in the open floor and verticality, he's not the most athletic or explosive. He lacks the quick twitch athleticism that most NBA guys have. Things also get ugly for him when his defensive assignment is on the perimeter. Şengün is a guy who at 18 years of age put up MVP caliber numbers in one of the best leagues in the world against grown men. The likelihood that this guy is going to be able to produce is very high. In drafting him, the Spurs will be trying to fill the potential scoring void left by DeMar DeRozan. James Boogie Knight. Boogie Knight is 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan. In his sophomore season at UConn, he averaged 35.7 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per 100 possessions, while shooting 45% from the field and 29% from three. Boogie Knight has the tools to be a really effective scorer at the NBA level. He showed he can be a pure 3-level scorer. He glides past defenders and has a deadly hesitation move, which defenders found impossible to guard. He uses his in and out dribble as well to get past defenders. There's also potential for him to be a good pull-up shooter too. He's a good creator in isolation and can definitely create his own shot. He's a natural finisher at the basket, and he does an alright job of generating contact when he gets to the rack. He also has a high free throw rate and gets to the basket regularly. He has good burst in his drives and hangs in the air for a long time when he goes up for finishes. The 3-ball of the dribble is good. His percentages were affected by him needing to take a lot of tough shots though, and I believe he has that microwave ability scoring wise. He's also a really sulky and fluid athlete. The explosiveness is there, even if it's not quite up there with the best in the class. He also showed he can be a good vertical athlete too. On the negatives though, he's not a high-level distributor. He would often stifle the UConn offense and eventually settle for tough shots to turn the ball over. He also showed a lack of control with the ball in his hands when teams pressured him. He also doesn't offer much off the ball, and defensively he lacks good instincts and can get lost at times. Boogie Knight can provide some scoring for the Spurs, and while there is a bit of a log jam at the guard positions, Boogie Knight provides something that the other guys just don't. Usman Garuba. Garuba averaged 10.8 points, 10.2 rebounds, 2.1 assists per 36 minutes, and shot 46.1% from the field and 34% from 3 in the Liga ACB in Spain. The first thing you'll notice with Garuba is his heart and intensity. He showed great hustle and never gave up on plays. That's a great attribute for an NBA player to have, as it can make all the difference sometimes. He's a great shot blocker and uses his length to contest shots at the rim. He's also really versatile as a defender, being able to defend in the paint or on the perimeter. He clamped up a couple smaller guys in isolation last season. He understands angles well and he protects the heart of the paint well when ball handlers drive on him. He's also really intelligent and baits ball handlers into making poor decisions. The defensive instincts are definitely there and he reads situations cleverly. He holds his own in the post and uses his length to swallow up contests. With the ball in his hands, he shows good potential as a rebound and run guy, and he creates scoring opportunities for himself and his teammates from these situations. He can also create out of the short roll, which should be very valuable in the NBA. In general, he displayed that he has a reasonably high playmaking IQ. He found cutters and kickouts from the post and made some really nice touch passes too. At the basket, he's a relatively good finisher and can finish with both hands. His athleticism comes in here, and he can be an emphatic finisher at times. He's a good pick and roll finisher and he absorbs contact well. He's also good at catching and going straight up, and he does so well even through traffic. He's also a very active cutter. In terms of negatives, let's start with his shooting. To be honest, it wasn't great. The form doesn't look good and the percentages back that up. His shots have a very low arc and his release is really slow. While he is quick once he gets going, he doesn't have a great burst of speed. His dribble isn't that tight either, so I don't think he'll be much of a creator in the half court. Now Garuba isn't on the same level of a scorer as the other guys, however he's a defensive monster and is a guy who is a jump shot away from being a seriously valuable player. In that case, there's really no better team for him to go to than the Spurs. Josh Giddey. He averaged 12.2 points and 8 rebounds with 8 assists per 36 minutes in the NBL, shooting 43% from the field and 30% from 3. He's a really creative passer both in the half court and in transition, and possesses the ability to make these passes with both hands. He has incredible timing on his passes and has an instinct for finding guys at the right time. He reads defenses to an exceptional degree and always has his head up looking for passes. He's able to find cutters on a consistent basis and does a good job of controlling the pace and tempo of the game. He gets the basket easy enough and does well to find big men for dump-offs. He's able to make a wide variety of passes including kickouts, wraparounds and behind the back passes. In general, his passes can be very pleasing on the eye. He operates the pick and roll well and can create for himself and others. He also finishes well at the basket and can use both hands when he gets there. He's not the most athletic guy, but when he does find holes in the defense, he penetrates well and his length comes in handy here, as he's able to use his long strides to get past defenders and his long levers to finish past them. He even has a little explosion when he gets ahead of steam to the basket. He has a little floater game and mid-range game in the bag as well, and is a smart off-ball cutter. The shot though is pretty slow and stiff, although he did make enough to keep defenses honest. The shot got better as the season progressed, and he was even a potential threat of the catch and shoot later on in the season. He was a threat of the catch and shoot and even started making shots off the dribble later in the season. A backcourt of Josh Giddey and DeJounte Murray sounds great defensively. The length that they could have at those positions could be really tantalizing for the Spurs. Johnson averaged 30.4 points, 16.4 rebounds, and 6 assists per 100 possessions, while shooting 52.3% from the field and 44.4% from 3. Johnson is a high-level athlete and possesses some serious lift. He's definitely a guy that can play above the basket. He's a really strong and fluid athlete. Finishing at the basket is not a problem for him, and he was able to put the ball in the basket from close range consistently, even through contact. He runs the floor hard, and his handle is exceptional for a guy that big. He's trouble for defense when he gets ahead of steam going to the basket, and his burst is very deceptive and can beat guys with the dribble. His footwork on the perimeter could use some work though. I think there's potential for him to be able to hit open threes to the next level. For now, his best hope lies in the catch and shoot though, not at the dribble. He hit long twos consistently, so I'm somewhat confident he could stretch those shots out to beyond the arc. He's a very smart passer, and he made some nice cross-court passes and found cutters regularly. He's a high IQ playmaker from the post. He can handle the ball off the grab and go, and he's so much fun to watch when he gets going in the open floor. His dribble in the half court will need some work though. The rim protection is absolutely there. He sneaks up on guys and comes up with blocks and contests consistently. He anticipates action really well. The verticality he shows on the offensive end translates to here as well. There's even some potential for him to be a small ball 5 in certain situations. Guiding guys away from the basket with the body is something he's really good at too. He's also shown that he's stout enough to defend bigger guys in the post. Jaylen Johnson, like Garuba, is another one of those guys who's a jump shot away from being a really good contributor. There are also concerns about his attitude and work ethic, so the Spurs could be the perfect team for him. Well, that was all for this video. If you did enjoy, please put like and tap that like button. And until next time, it has been your boy, Zachary McAllister. Have a good day.